the Grandmasters League, the final game of the day from round 3 between Chris and Ming. Game 1, of course, already being played, and if you haven't seen that already, then you can click down to the bottom right now, like we have done in all the other videos, to go and watch that one first. If you want to, of course, whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your fancy. You don't have to watch Game 1 before Game 2, it's totally up to you, but it's likely that I'm going to spoil it because I'm going to tell you right now that Chris is coming from behind. Because Ming, of course, winning his home map on Arena that last game. Very well played Mayan War there by Ming, and Chris is currently losing this one 1-0. So we'll see how he does in this little matchup here. We do have Chris's home map, which is Islands. And they are both playing as Vikings, Chris in green, Ming in red, and I think green must be Chris's favourite colour. I don't think I've ever seen a game where Chris isn't playing as green, unless someone else maybe took his colour first. I've got no idea, but it always seems to be like Chris is green, which is fairly interesting. But Islands is his home map, and let's have a quick look at that map. First of all, well, his gold, not too bad. He's got 2 large gold piles, of course, and they are fair enough from the shore to be fairly safe, and that's really all that matters. He's got plenty of wood nearby as well, and of course big fish on every side. Depending on where he docks, of course, he might decide to dock at the top, which would be great. There's lots of big fish down there. He might decide to dock on the front and go for a quick attack on Ming, or he could dock down this side, which wouldn't be as beneficial as being up in the top over here. But as someone pointed out in the comments section before, you can't always tell where someone's going to dock because they don't have the map exploration until they've actually docked. So it's just speculation about where they could dock and where would be the best position to do so when they do that. Ming, of course, got a similar position here. He could dock at the back, which would work out very well. Plenty of big fish back here. Or he could dock at the front and go for a very aggressive sort of start. If they both decide to go for a front dock, we'll see a very big rush. If they both decide to back dock, then things could go at a slightly slower pace, and there's even a possibility for a landing. Yes, that's right, it's all to play for, and anything could happen. So we'll have to keep an eye on what actually goes down, and I'm going to speed things up for the time being because there really isn't that much deviation at the start of any game. Chris now moving over, and it looks like he's going to go and dock over on this side, which is kind of interesting. He's going to go on the very big deep fish patch, and to be honest with you, he does know where the bigger fish are going to be, because if you look where his island stops, he knows for a fact that all of this is water, and therefore there's going to be a lot of big fish in there. If he comes down this side, he's going to see that his island finishes very close to the edge of the map, and therefore he can work out just by trial and error, I guess, well, not trial and error, but by process of elimination, that the fish down here aren't going to be as good. So it is possible to have a better idea what is a good place to dock and where isn't. So he's going back here, which is a nice spot for him indeed. Lots of big fish back here, and he'll be getting his fishing ships out there very shortly. There is, of course, the slight risk that if you just dock back here and Ming goes for a front dock, which isn't actually going to happen because Ming's docked over here, but if Ming was to go for a front dock, then he could land him very easily if he gains control of this little space between the two. But at this rate, it's not going to happen for a long while anyway, as they're both going for a sort of backside dock. Ming's dock not in the best position, let's be honest. He's quite away from any of the big fish here. Big fish over on this side, quite distant. The big fish on this side, again, quite distant, but he is just assuming that all of this is water over here. He can't actually see the fact that there is a big island blocking anything from being in this water, so he's going to be okay, but again, not the best position for a dock, but he couldn't really know before he put his dock down there anyway. So again, speeding things up through the Dark Age. We'll reach Feudal fairly shortly, and then we'll see some crushing, I imagine, because this ain't no migration, and we will see a lot more in the way of a fast attack rather than a fast castle. Though getting up to the Castle Age in these kind of maps, pretty darn important as well. Of course, being Vikings, you do get wheelbarrow handcart for free, which does make quite a bit of a difference. But there we go, a 9-minute up for Chris, and Ming pretty much the same. These guys fairly neck and neck. Chris slightly further ahead with his upgrade, and he may aim for a faster castle time, but at the moment not taking any gold just yet. He's going to go 3 villagers to gold to make galleys with, and he's going to add on a couple more docks, I imagine, as well. 3 villagers to gold is the usual number, and we could see some pretty big grushing from both these guys. Unfortunately, whenever it's a water map, they do choose Vikings, and the outcome is usually grushing, and it's kind of to be expected because water control is so important. And Vikings are the best at gaining the water control. It's as simple as that. And I suppose you could say, unfortunately, that is the only way that it tends to be. Perhaps with the introduction of the Forgotten Empires, we might see other civilizations making it onto the water, but for the time being, I can't see anyone being a serious contender to Vikings on water maps like this. But anyway, 3 docks for Chris, 3 for Ming as well, and from both of these guys, I'm just trying to cast my mind back to the previous games. I think they both played fairly well on water. Chris managed to take the game from Ming on the migration, which was possibly one of the best games of the tournament so far. So we can expect some good stuff from Chris on water maps. As for Ming, well, Ming managed to beat Feudal Age on that migration as well. So both of these guys fairly good on water maps from what I've seen so far. We'll have to see how it turns out in the long run though. Who is going to be the victor on the water? Again, we'll have to wait and see indeed. And these Chinese guys do seem to be pretty strong on water maps. Tim definitely has been playing fairly well on water maps indeed. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out to see how it goes. And for the time being, I think again, fast forwarding things up, and we'll see what these guys can do in the way of micromanagement. Let's see where Chris decides to go. He's going around the back. He's assuming that Ming is gone for the back dock, and he's going to find very shortly where he's docked because he's about to run into him. He may manage to get some fishing ships, but bear in mind he is the aggressor, so Ming, slight advantage now as he has got 3, 4, 5 galleys out on the water there, and Chris has not actually seen him, and I'm wondering why he's turning around just here. I'm not really sure, maybe he set them to patrol or something, but now he's seen his docks, he's going to know he's around this area, and Ming has already got plenty of galleys out to repel Chris away. So Chris going to know where he is, but of course being the aggressor has its slight disadvantages. Ming here going to be able to reinforce very quickly any attacks that Chris brings in, but if Chris can gain a nice advantage, if he adds another dock on, he could quite easily overpower Ming if he was to go all out on the water. Of course that is very risky as well, as Ming could quite easily just go 3 docks Castle Age and then power through that way, but he's not. He's already added his 4th dock on, and Ming is likely to gain a pretty big advantage on the water before long. Of course though, I've just noticed Chris adding 4 docks as well. We might just see 4, we might see 5, we'll have to wait and see, but Castle is certainly on these guys' minds, and at this stage it looks to me like Chris is slightly closer to the Castle Age, but I don't want to call it yet because he might spend all of that on villagers, who knows. We'll have to again wait and see. Looks like Ming now going to be the aggressor. Chris probably going to play it a little bit defensive, as he did see that Ming had quite a few galleys out on the water, and if you can play it defensive and lure your opponent towards you, then you've got a better chance of winning, I guess, because you can reinforce a lot faster when your boats have less distance to travel than your opponent's boats. So we'll see how they micro this first attack. Micromanagement on galley wars, very important, as galleys without ballistics are very inaccurate, so it's very important that they micro these well. And it looks like Ming turning around again just before he reaches Chris's docks. He's going to go and look down this little alleyway here, I suppose you could call it an alleyway. He might assume that Chris is docked on the front. He's going to find that he's not docked on the front, and if Chris was to launch an attack now and went back over to Chris's fishing ships, then wow, that would be a huge blow to Ming's economy. Gotta say though, Ming looks like he's got a ton of ships on the water right now. He has got 19 boats out, whereas Chris is on 18, so it's actually closer than I thought. But when I saw these galleys here and these galleys here, I thought Ming had a ton, but they're actually very close in numbers altogether. Chris keeping his army together for the most part, and Ming deciding to split up and get some scouting information. Again, not a great deal going on, and I imagine we'll see Castle Age from Chris very shortly. If we have a look at his eco here, he's got his market down, he's got his blacksmith down as well, and he will be up to the castle in a pretty reasonable time. Ming, on the other hand, well, he's not going to be castle for some time yet, but it's not the end of the world from him. Or for him. As we've seen many times, galleys can outrun war galleys fairly easily, and that does mean that Ming will be able to run away in I suppose, in long run away from Chris for as long as he needs until he can get a war galley of his own. But Chris now up to the Castle Age, and in a pretty decent time in comparison. It's going to cost him a few boats though. Chris only on 25, Ming on 27, so 2 boats, and Chris already up to feudal. Castle. I'd say that Chris is in the lead here. Although he has a smaller score, he's definitely going to be in the lead, and as he's kept his whole army together, he can chase Ming down, try and take out as many ships as he can. Ming though just going to slip away, and now coming around from the other side, Ming deciding to go and attack some fishing ships, I think. Pardon me, if he can take out some fishing ships, that would help him out massively. And Ming turning around, nope, he's just stopped, and he's going to have to continue running because Chris is going to be chasing him down and doing as much damage as he can to these galleys. Upgrades wise, well, they are +1/+1. They're absolutely neck and neck for the time being, and Chris now going to reach castle in just a few moments, upgrading to war galley straight away. We've seen it a million times, but look at this, they're going to engage again on the water, and Chris could find himself in a nice little situation if he manages to trap Ming in there. He's going to have to run away from this though, severely outnumbered, and here he comes around the back of Ming's base. Ming cutting through the middle, and Chris is going to have war galleys here very shortly. He could really easily take out a lot of fishing ships back here, and even pick off some galleys as well. So war galley is going to be on the way. We're waiting for that just now. 88%, and he is going to be sorted. He is going to be trapping Ming in this corner if he can. Nice engagement, Ming there. I don't know why he didn't retreat. He got a little bit greedy trying to take out those fishing ships, and now he's paying for it because these galleys getting cut down very quickly indeed. Massive losses for Ming just there, and now Chris as well at the back of Ming's base could very easily come into the back and take out these fishing ships, and I think Ming's going to know he's there. He's going to have to run for his life because in comes Chris with some more war galleys around the back. Over this side he's going to head him off again, going to be trying to head him off and corner him as best he can, which is not so easy on water, I guess. But here he comes, and the fishing ships are going to be running away, and I don't think that Ming is going to be up to much here. If he's not gathering fish, it's going to slow his food economy down. Fortunately, he's already up to the Castle Age though, so this blow coming a little bit late, but Chris could very easily take out Ming's docks here, and if he does take out his docks, then he is going to be sorted, because Ming is not going to be able to replenish his ships very fast. He may even stop the galley upgrade, or war galley upgrade. If he was to attack this one, it would delay it massively, but it looks like Ming is going to get that upgrade completed. For the time being a real nuisance. Chris gaining a big advantage here, taking out Ming's docks, and there's not going to be a lot Ming can do to defend against this very effectively. His army is very split up, and it looks to me like Chris has actually got more ships on the water. 34 for Ming, Chris on 42. He is doing a great job here of getting those ships out, and he's already got a university up, so he could have ballistics already. I'm not sure if he has. Sorry I missed that one, but wood up straight away. He will have upgraded his wood, starting to add in TCs now as well. His gold, just the right amount to continue production from all of these docks right here, and he does have a huge advantage on the water. Ming gonna find himself in a bit of a tough spot very shortly, but for the time being, forcing Chris away it seems, or is Chris chasing Ming down? It's hard to actually say, but there we go again. Ming splitting up his army and kind of paying for it because Chris is starting to catch him out and really sort of keep the pressure on. Of course, Chris still has his fishing ships. There they are. I was wondering where they disappeared to. They can still gather plenty of fish for him, which is more than I can say for Ming's fishing ships, which are up in this corner, struggling to do anything right now. And if Chris continues to take out Ming's docks, then that is more wood that Ming's going to have to spend on building docks, and that is going to put Chris at a nice advantage. But one thing I have noticed is these Chinese players, they tend to get careening very quickly, and they upgrade their ships fully. Chris, on the other hand, no careening seen at all, and same for when we watched Dog versus Tim. Neither of them neither of them have careening right now, and not having careening I think probably cost Dog the game in that water map against Tim. So kind of interesting that a lot of these players don't go for careening, but the Chinese players do, and I don't really know why. I mean, careening is really useful. Maybe they just favour not getting it over getting more ships, perhaps. I really couldn't tell you, but it does look like Chris is gaining a big lead here. If he can take out more of these docks, then he is going to be sorted, because docks of course cost the equivalent of 1 and a bit galleys. So all the time that Ming doesn't have a dock or loses a dock, he's lost a little bit more ships, a few more ships, and that is certainly not good. Chris heading off his fishing ships as well. Very, very well played by him. Ming now up to 3 town centres. Chris up to 3 as well, just about. And he's got plenty of farms coming in as well. He could be even thinking about the Imperial Age for about 35 minutes. And if he does do that, he is going to be in a great situation indeed. 108 population for him. Ming on only 60 right now. If Ming knew the population difference, he'd be very, very worried. He's really got no navy whatsoever. And of course now Chris has the water control. He can very easily make sure that Ming doesn't dock anywhere, try any sneaky business, because if I was Ming, or if a lot of people were Ming, they'd probably try and dock somewhere around here and land a transport ship onto Chris's island. But now Chris can surround Ming, and he can make sure that he is not going to be surprise docking him anywhere or surprise landing him anywhere at all. Ming with a few ships left, but what is Ming going to do? He's not creating any boats whatsoever. He's just going to be working on his economy by the looks of things. Problem is now he's probably got a little bit too much wood. He needs a few less wood collectors, maybe a few more farms instead, because his economy is really geared up for making boats. And now we see his wood count getting extremely high while he's not creating any boats whatsoever. A little bit risky, and certainly not going so great for him at all. No stone coming in, and I would say about 2 stone collectors, which really isn't a lot. If he wants to regain the water, he's going to need a castle on the shoreline and build the docks in the area below the castle so that they can stay safe. Chris, on the other hand, I think I saw he had quite a lot of stone collectors. He's got quite a few here. He's going to be looking to get enough stone for a castle, and he may even do a castle drop onto Ming's side of the map, which would be really good for him. If he manages to drop a castle like right here, for instance, he could do a lot of damage, or even here would be better. If he could do that, that's going to secure him the game for sure, but at the moment it's really not looking good for Ming. Ming doesn't want to give it up though. He's losing a lot of ships, he's lost a lot so far, but he's got plenty of resources, I guess, to continue working on the rest of his economy. We'll see how that one goes. He's still going to need a lot more farms, and of course now Chris can very easily harass him from the shoreline. He's taking out his docks, taking out his houses, and if he gets in here as well, he can even take out villages and farms and such as well. So Ming under a lot of pressure, certainly not good for him. It's looking very, very bad indeed. Chris nearly ready to go up to the Imperial Age, I think. Lots of farms now sown for him, or soon, or sown, yeah. And quite a bit of gold coming in as well. We just needs another 500 food, and he's going to be ready to upgrade, and he is going to find himself in a very nice position once he gets Imperial. And I think even if he does reach Imperial, Ming might just resign there, because it's going to be very little Ming can do to actually gain this one back. Now Chris has the water control, he can pump out a few more fishing ships. Looks like he's going to do just that, continuing to make fishing ships now, really working on that water boom, and up to the Imperial Age he goes. Ming up to Imperial as well, slightly faster. I'm wondering what he's going to do when he gets to Imperial though. Looks like he's going to save up for a castle, plenty of villagers gathering stone right now, and if he can get this castle down into a nice position, then it could just mean he can hold on and try and regain the water. The problem is Chris is also going Imperial himself. He's also got enough for a castle, and I believe he may have landed. Yep, he's landed and built a castle over on Ming's side. There'll be no other explanation to where he'd put that castle. He's put it on Ming's side. Perhaps he could have put a little bit of a better position, but nevertheless he's put it over this side here, and now he's going to start making some units on Chris's side. Barracks going down. We could see, what could we see? We could see some castle. We could see some champions or something, or we could just see halberdier spam. That's kind of interesting. Nice one. Ming trying to put the castle up here, not going to happen unfortunately. Chris very quick to respond. He's got his ships in there. He's going to try and take out these villagers very quickly. And what is Chris doing with these barracks? Well, he's making some berserks for a start, but maybe he'll be looking to upgrade to champion eventually. essentially. Ming trying to desperately get this castle up, but of course Chris now with a siege workshop, he can put some rams in there very easily, and there comes the ram instantly, and of course a trebuchet could come out as well from his castle once he reaches the Imperial Age. Berserk's coming out, looks like the castle's going to go up, but the villagers are attacking it, the battering rams are going to be attacking it, and there's going to be very little Ming can do. There we go, he's resigned. There is absolutely nothing Ming can do really in this situation. Looking at the scores, it says it all, and with Chris just getting Imperial and attacking his castle, once that castle went down, he wouldn't be able to get the water back, and that would be a real shame and a real problem for him even. So there we go, Chris managing to level the scores, making it 1-1 for both of these guys, and that means they both gain 1 point each, which brings Ming slightly off the bottom, but I think he's still the last place at the moment. For yeah, he must be, and Chris somewhere mid-table at the moment. If you want to see the league table, then there's a link in the description of the video, and if you want to download the recorded games, there's also a link to that in the description of the video as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Let you know real quick as well what's going on. The games between Jordan and Doubt have been delayed. Jordan's got a bit of a cold, he's not feeling too well, so they might not play their games by tomorrow, which does mean that tomorrow we might not have any games. And if that's the case, then I will do a Teaching a Noob with Avalek, and then I'm going to be away from Thursday evening until Monday, because I'm going to a 50th birthday party at some stately home somewhere, and I'm going to be very, very busy over the weekend, so there might not be so much on the weekend. I'll try and get a video out on Sunday if I can. No promises though, and I will make sure that I get the GML games updated on AOC Zone as well. So if there's no more GML for the week, I apologise. I'll try and get that out as soon as I can, but there is a bit of a delay unfortunately with Jordan and Doubt. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys next time.